the proud man who learned the true meaning of wisdom. Michel Laurent was a man admired by many and loved by very few. He lived in Toronto, Canada, in a tall glass mansion that reflected the sky like a mirror. He was tall, handsome, sharp-eyed, and confident. His suits were always perfect. His shoes always shined. His words always sounded powerful. Michel was not just rich. He was educated. Highly educated. He had graduated from one of the best universities in Canada. He owned a successful technology company. Hundreds of employees worked under him. And Michel believed one thing with all his heart. Uneducated people are useless. He never said it softly. He said it proudly. The interview that broke a heart. One cold winter morning, a man named Sunil entered Michael's office. Sunil was simple. His clothes were clean but old. His hands were rough from years of hard labor. His English was not perfect. He stood nervously in front of Michael's large glass desk. Michel looked at his resume. Then he frowned. Michel asked coldly, "Where is your university degree?" Sunil swallowed. "Sir, I could not study. My family was very poor. But I am hard-working. I can learn fast." Michel leaned back and laughed slightly. "Learn fast?" Michel said loudly. Other interview candidates were sitting nearby. Michel raised his voice deliberately. "This is not a construction site. This is a professional company." Sunil's face turned red. Michel continued. "People like you waste time. You cannot even speak properly. How can you work here?" Sunil lowered his head. His voice trembled. "Sir, I only need one chance." Michael's eyes hardened. "No. Leave. This place is not for uneducated people." Everyone heard it. Sunil walked out slowly. His heart was broken. But Michel did not care. A few weeks later, Michel was at his luxury sports club. A rich young man approached him respectfully. "Sir, I want to join this club." Michel looked at him carefully. The boy looked rich, but his speech was simple. Michel asked, "What university did you attend?" The boy smiled awkwardly. "Sir, I did not go to university. I helped my father in business." Michael's face immediately changed. "No education?" The boy shook his head. Michel said coldly, "This club is for educated gentlemen." The boy's smile disappeared. He walked away silently. Michel turned away proudly. One night, Michel attended a grand party. Beautiful lights. Expensive wine. Influential people. A woman approached Michel confidently. She was elegant, but simple. "Hello," she said warmly. "My name is Clara." Michel smiled politely. "What do you do?" "I am a bus driver," she said proudly. Michael's smile disappeared instantly. "A bus driver?" he repeated. He looked away. "Oh. Excuse me. I need to speak to someone important." Clara stood there alone. Humiliated. Michel walked away. The servant he shamed. Even in his own house, Michel showed no kindness. One day, his servant accidentally dropped a glass. It shattered on the floor. Michel shouted in front of guests. "Are you stupid? You cannot even hold a glass properly? The servant apologized repeatedly. I'm sorry, sir. I'm very sorry. Michel turned away in anger. To him, uneducated people were beneath him. The day his pride was broken. Months later, Michel received news from his son's school. He sat in a classroom. Teachers surrounded him. His son, Daniel, sat beside him with tears in his eyes. One teacher spoke gently. Mr. Laurent, your son is struggling. He cannot keep up academically. Another teacher added. We believe he is learning difficulties. Michael's heart began to race. Another teacher said softly. He is not performing at expected intellectual levels. Michel felt something he had never felt before. Helplessness. He looked around. Other parents were whispering. Students were looking. Some were smiling. His son was being judged. Just like he had judged others. Daniel whispered. I'm sorry, Dad. Michel could not speak. For the first time in his life, he had no words. Michel left everything. He went alone to a quiet town. He walked alone. He sat alone. He remembered his childhood. He remembered how his own father was poor. How people once insulted his family. He whispered to himself. When did I become this person? His heart felt heavy. One afternoon, Michel saw a familiar face. It was Sunil. Sunil was walking with twin girls beside him. Sunil saw Michel. He smiled warmly. Hello, sir. Michel froze. He remembered everything. The insult. The rejection. Michel felt ashamed. But Sunil showed no anger. Michel asked quietly. These are your daughters? Sunil's eyes shined with pride. Yes, sir. Michel asked. What do they do? Sunil smiled. They recently passed the national IQ test. Michel listened carefully. Sunil continued. They got the highest marks in the entire country. Michel was shocked. The highest. In the country? Sunil nodded. They are invited to television programs now. Michel looked at the girls. They were intelligent. Confident. Bright. His heart broke. He thought. I am educated. I am rich. But my son struggles. This man is uneducated. But his daughters are geniuses. Michel realized something deeply painful. Education does not define human value. Pride had blinded him. Michel walked alone. His mind was full of thoughts. Then he saw a priest walking slowly. The priest's face was calm. His eyes were kind. Michel felt drawn to him. He followed him to the church. Finally, Michel spoke. Father. The priest turned and smiled gently. Yes, my son. Michel introduced himself. The priest invited him. Come. Let us have coffee. They sat together quietly. Michel spoke honestly. Father. I am rich. I am educated. But I am unhappy. The priest listened carefully. Michel continued. My son is not academically strong. I feel ashamed. The priest asked softly. Why ashamed? Michel replied. Because intelligence is everything. The priest smiled gently. No, my son. It is not. Michel looked confused. The priest opened the Bible. He read, God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. James 4 verse 6. Michel listened silently. The priest said, Let me tell you a story. There was once a man named Saul, the priest said. He was powerful and educated. But he was proud. One day, he lost everything. He became blind. In his blindness, he found truth. He became Paul, a humble servant of God. Michel whispered, Are you saying pride blinded me? The priest nodded gently. My son, your pain is not punishment. It is correction. God is teaching your heart. Michael's eyes filled with tears. For years, I insulted people. The priest said softly. But today, you feel their pain. Michel whispered. Yes. The priest smiled. This is the beginning of your healing. Michel fell on his knees in the empty church. He prayed. Jesus, forgive me. I was proud. I was blind. Change my heart. And Jesus did. Michel returned home. But he was no longer the same man. He apologized to his servant. I am sorry, he said sincerely. He met Clara. I was wrong to disrespect you. He found Sunil. I am sorry for hurting you. Sunil forgave him. Michel began helping poor children. He funded their education. He encouraged them. He loved them. Not because they were educated, but because they were human. Because they were precious. Because God loved them. One day, Michel told his son Daniel, You are not defined by marks. You are defined by your heart. Daniel hugged him. Michel finally understood the truth. True wisdom is not in the mind. It is in the heart. And true greatness is